You only go with low, Stefan Logan. I am your host with Let's Talk Football, sponsored by Nate Burleson on Good Morning Football, NFL Today, and Extra TV. I'm also a supporter and founder and co-founder of Love versus Cancer Foundation, and everybody know my slogan. My slogan, sorry, age is only a number, and that's what it's all about. But enough about me. I got a guest on today, and he don't even need no introduction, man. I mean, he's been one of the top quarterbacks in college. He came to the NFL, man, and he did his thing. He's also represented by Nike with Oregon. My guest for the day, Dennis Dixon. But Dennis, before we get started, I want you to let us know about this as a football player now, and you're really active, and about this Pinterest. Like it's something that you get an app and you find different things that you want to do in the house. Like, how did that come about? What made that get started?
For me, partnering up with Pinterest is definitely a great thing right now. Seeing that a lot of gyms are closed and don't really have a lot of access to a lot of gym equipment. And what I always allude to is that I try to eliminate as many excuses as possible. You can still be active within your own home. And you'd be surprised as to what you can be able to find to be able to make that happen. So I try to bring that into real life with Pinterest. I've been doing a couple of projects with them as of late, doing exercises with throw pillows, from canned goods to couches to chairs, whatever it is. I'm trying to find, unique ways and try to make it fun at the same time.
Man, that's great, man. That's unique too. I mean, I ain't know nothing about it. My wife told me something. She was telling me about Pinterest, and I'm like, well, what is that? She was like,
Yeah,
it's something that you wouldn't think a football player that will be into,
of
but
course.
that's good, man. I'm gonna do some more research on it myself so I can get into it myself. We both like to stay flash and stay fly. So that's something that I might look into myself. And
Sounds good.
my next thing was, because that was just to get it started, because that was something that I thought about. But you was a football player and you played baseball. If you had to choose a sport, which one would you pick? And
Hands down, baseball. Baseball. Baseball is absolutely my first love. A lot of people may not know that, but baseball was definitely my first love for sure. For those who do not know, I got drafted twice. I got drafted in high school by the Cincinnati Reds in the 20th round. Decided not to go. I had a good support system within my mom and my dad. My mom was more on the education side. My dad was on the sports, so I had a good balance in high school. But I decided to let that go and try to get my degree and obviously get a advance to college. That was my goal. That was my mom's goal too. So I wanted to make sure that I lived that for sure. But I had the opportunity to get drafted again my junior year in college by the Atlanta Braves in the fifth round. I played that summer. I made it all the way to Double A. For those who do not know, it's levels to
impressive,
baseball.
impressive.
It's levels to baseball. I wasn't there for a long time, maybe about a month top. But I made a significant change from single A to double A, triple A, and then it's the MLB.
It's crazy.
I was one more level before making my dream really come true. But I decided to go back from my senior year in football, and that's how things kind of really shaped out to where they are now.
But it's okay, because we're gonna
Yeah,
touch on football as well. Because
right, of course.
people that don't know Dennis Dixon, I mean, he was a great baseball player. I do know that. Me and him, we shared the same field in 2009 with the Pittsburgh Steelers. The only thing, I came a year late when they went to the Super Bowl. He went to the Super Bowl in 2009. In 2008, I came in 2009. We had a rough season that year, but
Yeah.
we'll touch on that as well. But let the people know, how did it feel? What was your thoughts on playing football? I mean, first of all, baseball was your number one sport. You really love baseball. We already know that you was a great pitcher. Then you came out, played quarterback, went to Oregon, was a Heisman finalist. What was that? And then you went to the NFL, got drafted to a Super Bowl team. Like, what was that feeling?
The film was surreal, to be honest. As a little kid, you always wanted to get to that stage. Whenever Super Bowl Sunday really comes, I mean, you actually see the flickering lights, on TV. But actually being in the spotlight, it was super surreal. It was everything that I really dreamed of and more. And to win it, I mean, it's just put the icing on the cake. And I did it twice. So I'm definitely blessed for sure.
Hey, I can't say that you did do it twice. You did it with Pittsburgh Steelers and Baltimore Ravens, two teams in the same division. Ain't that crazy?
Ain't that crazy?
But hey, just to touch on a little bit more on when you was in college and you went to the Pittsburgh Steelers and being that front row, being front row and center as the elite quarterback. And when you got to Pittsburgh, you didn't really shine and flourish like you wanted to because you was behind a Hall of Fame quarterback, Big Ben. Like, how did that sit with you? How did you stomach that? Because I know we both were stars in college. You went to a bigger school than I did, but we still kind of shared that same vision, that same feel. How did you accept playing that backup role, being behind Big Ben, even though he's one of the greats?
To be honest, Steph, it was tough when I first got there. But one thing that I really had in my favor was a good support system, obviously with family. But I take it a step further. My extended father, that I will say, is probably Charlie Batch. Charlie Batch took me under his wing right when I got in there and kind of let me know the lay of the land on how to be a professional on and off the field. And I took that into consideration. I can be able to get noticed when people aren't looking. Doing the little things and the big things will follow. He was a true mentor of mine, and I still follow him to this day for sure, as far as advice and everything. So, hands down, Charlie Batch probably saved a lot because had I not had him, I probably would have said something that I probably shouldn't have said, or did something I should have done. But he kind of really put me in that bubble for sure to kind of really flourish the way we should do as a professionals.
It's funny you say Charlie Batch. When I got into Pittsburgh my first year in 2009, Charlie Batch was one of the first guys that I met, and he actually rented out his condo he had in what was that? And 8 Mile, not where Eminem stayed at. No, not
All
that,
right.
not that 8 Mile. The 8 Mile, he had a nice condo that he rented out to me. So I to say the least, like Charlie Batch was a great dude, man. I really appreciate what he did for me as well when I was in Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Mike Tomlin, head coach, black head coach. I think it's his 14th or 15th season, and he has done some incredible things at Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh is one of the franchises that had the least amount of head coaches. They only had, I think he's the third head coach that Pittsburgh has had in the last 3-4 decades. And I want people to understand, because when people ask me these questions about Mike Tomlin, I say he is a player's coach. He
Mm.
is a guy that when you sit down and talk to him, he gonna talk to you like one of the brothers, like one of the homies. It didn't matter whether you're black or white. He will always steer you straight. He didn't sugarcoat nothing. That's just like my first year when I came in, and I was a running back my whole career. And then he was like, I asked him what was my role, and he said, "Look, I want you to be a returner. I want you to catch these kicks and return these punts." That was my role. That's all I need to do. He said, "Don't worry about offense. Don't worry about defense." But I want you to just touch a little bit on, let the people know about Mike Tomlin. How is he as a coach, even though you was there longer than me, so you got a little bit more insight than I do.
Oh, well, I was second that, Steph, as far as him being the players coach for sure. I had a similar situation myself. Obviously you saying that, being a Heisman and all that stuff in college, and I knew that I had obviously the ability to be able to make that team great, but I never
Mm-hmm.
really had a full opportunity. But once I got in there, that's what that was my mindset. But he really kind of sat me down and kind of really, kind of just broke it down to me. Like, yeah, you have someone in front of you that is definitely the franchise of this organization right here. And I don't think he's going to nowhere time soon. To be able to
Right.
kind of develop and groom behind him, you never know. You're a play away from playing. So as quarterbacks, you always got to be ready. So I always had, Mike Tomlin in my ear, and I always had Charlie Batch as well to
Yeah.
be able to groom me. So when my time do come, I definitely flourish. And it did come, and I definitely made the most of it for sure.
Yeah, I can't say that because I got a chance to. I mean, I'm a football fan, I'm a sports fan, so I did see you play when you
Yeah.
got that chance to start. So that was always a good thing, man. And I always say, you know, eh, being a star, for some of the people out here that don't know, when you a star at your sport and you got to take a back seat, it is very hard to accept that. I had to explain to my son the same thing because he was the hometown star from little league all the way to high school. Now he's in 10th grade, just about to go into the 11th grade, be a junior. And he is the backup to a senior. So I told him, I said, when your time come and you're a junior and senior, you don't want that head coach to put you down and let this freshman get more plays than you. So you got to take that role and accept it, because you weren't even supposed to play. He played varsity last year. He wasn't even supposed to play varsity last year, but he did good. So I'm happy
Right.
about that. But it's not
Right.
even about him. But just so you know, he did a great job, man. I'm happy for him, and we're gonna keep doing good things.
I
But
love it.
right now, what is Dennis Dixon doing now in 2020, 2021?
Oh, what I'm doing now, obviously playing sports since I was J high, always wanted to, play professional and win championships and all that. Done that. Check. Right.
Mm-hmm.
Now, now it's on the field. Now I'm trying to be a champion in life. And that's into the fitness realm. I'm a performance coach. I'm doing a lot of consulting work, obviously, like you said, from Nike and Jordan. I'm one of their head trainers for their space in downtown LA. So I'm doing a lot of performance training with obviously athletes that I used to be. I
Mm-hmm.
feel like I'm still active for sure. If
Oh,
somebody try to
I
test me,
know about
trust
it.
me, man, I would definitely compete with the best of them for sure. And to be honest, Steph, I feel as if I'm in the best shape now than when I was playing. So
Hmm.
I am trying to be a role model and illustrate that on a daily basis, not only from just elite athletes, but your general population. And your youth as well. So I'm a performance coach, just trying to make an impact in my community and obviously back home and where I'm at right now in Portland. I'm just trying to give the community, my best efforts for sure.
Man, that's good, man. That's good, man. Hey, and kudos to you, man. And I appreciate everything you're doing and what you're doing for the kids. But at the same time, man, keep doing it. Keep doing it.
Thank you. Thank
I had watched your well, of course we follow each other on Instagram. And
you.
I
All right.
saw a video that you put up, and it was very intriguing to me. It was very inspirational about a name change that you was doing. What was that all about?
At the University of Oregon, our rivalry game was called the Civil War, and it's something that's kind of been overlooked for a long time. Everybody's been trying to talk about that, trying to find name change and all that, but it's kind of been blown under the rug. And obviously with what's going on in the world these days, I mean, what better time than now to kind of really change that. You don't want to be able to talk about something so historic like that during a football game. So not only myself, but a lot of my ex-players, not both from the University of Oregon and Oregon State, kind of really came together and just kind of see if it really made sense. I'm not just going to just say anything out of vacuum, or they not either. So we all came together, committees and all, both athletic directors on both sides, to just kind of really drive change, because obviously this world needs that more than ever. And
Yes,
just to
sir.
kind of see the unity between both universities was a beautiful thing. Still in the process of trying to figure out exactly what that name is. I have no control over that. I don't even know what the name will be, but I think that they're going to leave that to obviously the community that's around here and everything. So we want to kind of continue to go in the right direction, not only just in the world, but from a sports standpoint as well. So just leveraging our, obviously our expertise, and obviously leveraging our platform, and try to do it the best way possible in a positive manner.
With you being an impact to Oregon, are some of your guys that you play with, are they involved as well? Are they trying to help you change this name and make an impact to the youth?
Oh yeah, that's the thing. Yeah, it's just not me. It's former players and it's current players right now on both sides, as well as the athletic directors on both sides, just trying to figure out exactly what that name would be. So it's overall a beautiful thing. But at the same time, a lot of people really don't adjust to change. So obviously, it's going to ruffle a couple of feathers here and there. But at the
Yeah,
same time, if you're doing it for the reason for a good reason, that's all that matters. And if you're doing it with like-minded people, that's all that matters as well.
very true, very true. Real quick, everybody know Dennis Dixon once again. He played for Oregon. Let me touch real quick on the locker room, in the football locker room. You was getting a pair of shoes maybe what we practice Monday, Tuesday. No, I forgot the practice schedule, but just to be hypothetical, we had 3 days of practice. It's 5 days in a week. He was getting a pair of shoes. I want to say he got like I want to say what 3 pair of shoes a day. And I'm gonna give y'all 3 days a week. He got like 3 pair of shoes a day. So you do the math on that for a whole football season. Like his room that he had in his apartment, he had one whole room that was just full of shoes, like shoe boxes. And I can attest to this because he did give me 2 pair of J's for free. The patent leather, I think it was the 12s, and he gave me another big brand. I forgot the name. I forgot what number it was. But what are you doing? Oh, and for you celebrities that don't know, I would say we call them Double D. I would say Double D probably the most shoes I've seen. So for y'all celebrities that don't know, Double D's shoe game is off the chain. He practiced and he work out and he train kids in Jordans. What are you doing with all these shoes?
Hey, to be honest, when I was growing up, I always wanted to be that guy, like, because I never had the money to be able to get it. But I'm truly blessed and fortunate to be able to have a lot of relationships at Nike. Obviously, going to the University of Oregon, it comes with its perks too. And I'm the type of person that don't burn bridges, so I try to keep relationships close. I tend to follow up and, you reap the benefits, by me going to the University of Oregon. That's one. And then going to work for Nike shortly right after my football career for about 3.5 years. That goes into context too. So I've been getting shoes for a long time now with a lot of good relationships, and I'm forever grateful. And to your point, Steph, I think every locker room that I touch, I think everyone has mentioned exactly what you just said. And I take pride in that for sure. I mean, if you look good, you play good. I always say that too.
That was Dion's slogan.
Not only on the battlefield, but obviously lifestyle, obviously in the locker room, in the weight room, anything. You're going to see me with something. So I have to say, out of 365 days of the year, I can be able to have a different shoe for sure.
And we did have that challenge when we was in Pittsburgh. You said I'm gonna go a whole month or 2 months without wearing the same pair of shoes. And like I said, like I saw this with my own eyes. Like I saw him do this, like wear a different pair of J's every day. And that was very impressive because he's sponsored by Nike. You don't see that every day. But just to close it a little bit, just to close up our interview, because I really appreciate you being on, man. And like I said, this is something that I want to do to not only touch lives with other football players, but I want people to know how guys got started, like how other football players got started. What did they go through, and some of the obstacles and some of the challenges, and what are they doing now, as we already see. Right now, Dennis already told us about what he's doing now. He's touching lives. He's a strength conditioning coach for Nike, a big major corporation that brings in so much money, man. And right now, if you had to go back in life, and like you said, you didn't have all the money to pay for these shoes and do all this other good things and all these great things that you're doing right now, would there be something that you would change differently?
I would say for me, you can only go as far as like-minded people. Being in the league is hey, you gotta provide for yourself first. It's survival of the fittest. But as I continue to go into the football career, and obviously continue to listen to Charlie Batch, you got to keep people in your circle, and your circle has to be small too. But
True indeed.
I just had to be able to be open-minded to other people. That's one thing that I was so guarded. I feel like everybody was out against me. I always had something to prove and everything. But right now, as far as, being in the real world and trying to provide and try to be that impact and that influence to other people, I know that I can only go as far as the people that I, touch. So just continue to gain rapport with a lot of people. With that comes trust. And I got to open myself up to that too. And a lot of people, obviously from a male perspective, we're so hard, right? But at the same time, we can't be vulnerable. So I tried to kind of really show that, through my social media. I didn't start off this way. I try to tell my story. I think that's one thing that I learned from Nike. It's all about storytelling. What do you want people to kind of see you as? And I try to show that, yes, I try to show that on a daily basis.
That's good, man. That's good. Man, hey, like I said, Dennis, man, I appreciate it, man. I appreciate you being on the show, man. Let's talk football. We just getting it started. For y'all that don't know, man, Dennis Dixon, like I said, he was a finalist for the Harlan Hill. I'm talking about Harlan Hill. That's Division II. I was a finalist for that. But he was a finalist for the Heisman Trophy. He 2 Super Bowls. Shoe game is off the chain, man. I just want to say thank you, Dennis, man, for being on the show, man. I really appreciate it. And we'll touch base once again, man. Hey, stay tuned. We're going to keep this thing going.
Of course. You always family, Steph, and my door is always open. My phone call is always open too. So if you need anything, please don't hesitate, and tell the family I said hi, and tell my man, hey, continue to go, man.
Hey, likewise, brother. Likewise, man. I appreciate it, brother.
For sure.
All right, bro. Take it easy, bro. Right. Hey, I'm going to touch base with you in a minute, bro. Hey, stay tuned, man. Let's talk football. We ended this podcast.